couple have made up their minds. It is a farmer and his wife, and likely from the Midwest. As the farmers from the West, ranchers, tend to dress more extravagantly, and those from the East, with enough money to travel, wear more fashionable clothing. Out on the boardwalk, though, the couple relaxes and acts oddly like honeymooners. The man gets the tip of his cane caught in the space between the slats of wood. She laughs. They lean against a railing, and the breeze, smelling the heavy salt low-tide smell. They walk down the steps and across the narrow beach. She holds back as he steps close enough to get the soles of his shoes wet. He pokes at the ocean with his cane, staring at it with the raptness he felt for the northern lights as a child. Ground ivy, Glaucoma hederaceae, or called gill over the ground. It spread from the pump shed attached to the kitchen out to the barnyard, where it disappeared under cow and horse hooves and the frenetic scratching of chickens. There was dew on it now, and a yellowish pall from the early June sun barely coming up from behind the orchard. The weed smelled vaguely of dishwater or the slop pail for the pigs. Even earthworms wouldn't live beneath it. Salt or fuel oil would kill the weed, but then nothing else would grow. It was a fact of life. Joseph looked down at his shoes and the weeds, at his left foot twisted askew. In summer he liked best the first few hours after dawn, when the air was still fresh and moist. On hot days he would bathe in the pond at noon, then go down into the cool root cellar and read on a cot beneath a single bare light bulb. It was a dark and pleasant place, with its crates of potatoes, onions, carrots, apples, hung with twine from the ceiling, were the last of the bacon sides and hams left over from fall and winter. Sometimes he would read about politics in the news magazines, but more often than not he tired of politics and would spend his hours reading about the ocean, general works on marine biology, or popular history books dealing with wars and the Orient. He had never seen an ocean, been to war, or to the Orient. He lived on his family's farm and taught at the country school a half-mile down the gravel road that passed the house. He figured that someday, fairly soon, he would see the ocean, but the Orient was totally out of the question. Since last autumn, Joseph had been laying the farm to rest, but not with anything as dramatic as a rite or funeral, only a slow and gradual disassembling. The Sunday before, his sisters had come to pick over what they wanted from the house. Their husbands had wandered aimlessly around the barn, barnyard, tool shed, trying to scavenge something of interest. But they all lived in the city, and to them wrenches and garden tools took favor over such valuables as a scythe, harness, corn picker, manure spreader, hay rake. The husbands were aware that Joseph had locked the best of everything in the granary. Arlise, the only absent sister, and his twin, lived far away in New York City. To her he had shipped the old trunks with their faded Stockholm decals, bound with straps of tarnished brass, a slight dusty juniper smell inside. The other sisters, with eyes for antiques, asked, "Where are the trunks?" To which he replied simply, "Arlise." Frank, Charlotte's husband, had gathered the largest pile of odds and ends, and on a trial run had found it clearly impossible to fit all of his booty into the car with his 3 thuggish children. Frank had been a 20-year man, a sergeant in the Army, and now kept busy as a plant guard in an auto factory in Flint. He and Charlotte drank great quantities of beer. Marie and Shirley were churchgoers and did not approve of the way Charlotte and her husband drank. Joseph enjoyed watching Frank braying, swearing, kicking everything in sight. Far off, in the corner of the field, he could see his neighbor begin to cultivate the corn, which was still small and pale in mid-June. Joseph had